Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnie.
So,
Yes?
I've got an update.
Let me
A couple of episodes ago, I was talking about my hair dilemma.
Let's hear it.
Where I was trying to figure out what to do with my hair after taking my knotless braids out and being in the deep of winter. We're not there yet. We're only in the, well,
we are midway through.
We're midway through, and it's going to get colder.
Yeah.
I can feel it. So the solution was I had 1 week where I just did my natural hair in a bun of some kind with a bit of crochet braid extension just to give it a bit of...
Maybe a pony?
Yeah, it's a bit of a ponytail with a bit of a zhuzh to it. I don't know. I mean, my sister saw me and she was like, what's going on with the hair? That was the first thing she said. She's like, we'll talk about the hair very soon. So yeah, I realised that didn't really go down well. And then the next week, I put it into chunky twists, which is what I have right now. So we're going to do that for basically till Christmas. And then once we are off and have some time not working, I'm just going to literally go rough.
She's going to shave her head.
Not today.
Commit to it.
I can't. I also don't know
I
if
had a dream I shaved my head.
But I think your head shape will suit.
I don't know about that, babe.
Look at your sister has a
I
shaved
know,
head.
my sister has like more pronounced cheekbones than me, I feel like.
If you, for people that know Marnie, will know that Marnie and her sister are basically identical. They basically are.
You and your sister are identical. Me and my sister look quite different, I think.
I don't see it. Because I think that me and my sister look different as well.
I think you and your sister are identical. I think me and my sister are not. And you think me and my sister are identical.
Yeah.
And you do not think you and your sister are. Even though you guys pretty much have the exact same face shape.
No, but I think you guys...
I will say me and my sister have the exact same head shape.
Head shape and height.
Well, not the same height though. I'm taller than her.
Yeah, but...
Please.
Barely.
Put some respect on my name.
Barely.
And we have the exact same figure.
That's what
She's
I mean.
fuller up top than I am.
But
and I'm fuller at the bottom than she is.
But either way, you guys
It's unnoticeable.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are both tall. It's like models.
We are models.
Models.
We are models.
Not even models.
Well,
Models.
I actually did walk for someone at St Martin's end of year show.
Ooh.
This year.
See, you could have done that too.
I could have done that. Yeah, you're right. I could still do that, but I actually don't think I would fit in the clothes now.
Well, at this age.
Yeah, I actually just don't.
Also, I was going to try and make sure about your age, not about your size.
I don't think I could. I don't actually think I would fit in the clothes.
For real?
My sister is narrower than I am.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. It's kind of deceptive. If you saw us, you'd be like, "Oh, you guys look exactly the same." And actually, technically,
oh gosh, like I'm
a little
voluptuous.
bit lighter. I'm curvy.
But yeah, me and my sister, I don't think we look alike, and also we definitely don't in stature. Like we're both not models because my sister's
sister is petite.
She's
it's
small
adorable.
and cute,
yeah.
Whereas I'm big and giant, and that's how it's always kind of been.
You are in fact shorter than me.
I'm shorter than you, but I mean like next to her.
I mean, big and giant is a bit excessive, isn't it?
Yeah, but look at some baby photos. I look like I was really just engulfing my baby sister.
Yeah. And
she looks so cute, but also so scared in all her photos.
Me and my sister are 6 years apart, so there was absolutely no way she could ever look bigger than me.
Well,
like, yeah, I'm 12 and she's 6.
Yeah, but look at my brother. Younger, but giant.
Boys don't count.
I know.
Anyway, back to your hair thing.
Yeah, so that's the solution. I've been able to find some chunky, loose braids to just basically do me for the next couple of weeks. And I've got to the stage where I just don't care.
What are you doing on Christmas Day? Hairstyle. What's your hairstyle for Christmas Day?
The same one I've got now, but oiled and gelled.
I had my hair out on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Crunching at the end of the day.
Oh, of course.
But I washed my hair this week and I did a new method. And the method I did was something I saw on TikTok where people were like, you douse your hair in oil like the night before, let that sit and then wash your hair the next day.
Yeah, pre-poo. That's what they call it. Did you not know that?
Excuse?
It's called a pre-poo.
Well, here's the thing. I've tried so many different things with my hair. I just don't feel like any of them work.
Yeah.
But I've started using like a clarifying shampoo.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is helpful. But I also feel like my scalp is so itchy and dry. By like, if I wash my hair on Sunday, by Wednesday, Thursday, it's starting to be itchy and dry. And ideally, this is because there was a point where I was washing my hair every week.
Yeah.
And so my hair would just be like, give me the water. And now I'm like, this is actually not sustainable. One, because I'm tired and I have things to do. But two, I didn't actually feel like my hair was any less dry washing it every week.
So interesting.
So I'm trying not to do that. But it does mean that by the following week, so now it's been a week and a half, I'm actually in agony.
Really?
And my head is so itchy.
How often do you like oil or moisturize your hair?
I don't. Once I've washed it.
What?
But do you know why I was not doing that?
Yeah.
Because I'd seen videos where it's like, the oil is sitting on your head.
Yeah.
So I think what the issue is my hair's not producing enough oil on its own.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to basically restore it to a place where it restarts its oil production.
Okay.
And so the clarifying shampoo is supposed to help with that, because it's like if you take all the product out of your hair's not tricked into thinking there's stuff there already and might produce its own oil. I don't know if that's working entirely. But when I did the whole lather your hair in oil thing, I realised my hair's a lot more manageable when it's moisturised. So
maybe that will help. And also, how stained was your pillowcase?
Oh, I wear a bonnet to bed though.
Same, but if I was lathering my hair in oil, it would just seep through.
No, so I'd lather my hair in oil, I would say at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
By the time I went to bed, I feel like some of it, I hoped, had been absorbed.
Oh my.
It didn't, honestly, my pillowcase didn't look that bad.
Okay.
I was worried about my skin.
Yeah.
Because, like, in the night, the body likes to move.
Yeah.
I was like, with the morning, I'm going to wake up, the body's over my face, and my face is covered in spots. That didn't happen. When I washed my hair the next day, it was actually a very different experience to how it's been.
It would also be soft as well, softer.
It was softer. I felt like less of my hair came out, but a lot of my hair came out when I was combing it to put the oil in, to be fair. And also, for the first time in a long time, when I washed it, I felt like the strands were getting into like individual curls.
Oh, that's good.
Like usually when I wash my hair, it's just like a clump of hair, and maybe if you take the time to separate them out, then you can see them forming like a ringlet. But it was by itself sort of being like, I'm an individual strand, and I was like,
it was like, finally you've given me oil and moisturizer.
So I think I'm going to keep doing that until Christmas, and I might again wear my hair out, and hopefully it will be. I mean, I don't think like today. Yeah. Do I feel like my hair is oilier than it has been? No. Okay. But it's Tuesday. It's not itchy. Okay. Which is a good start. Yeah. Also, I'm using peppermint oil as opposed to like some people. At the moment, people on TikTok are raving about rosemary oil. Yeah. I'm using peppermint oil because it's supposed to be anti-inflammatory, and when your scalp is irritated, that's what I'm trying to work on. It's just like getting my scalp to a place where it's like healthy. Yeah. Because there's no point me putting all these oils in if ultimately my scalp is irritated and will not produce the sebum that's supposed to produce.
So interesting.
Honestly, I realised, I was thinking about this morning, I was like, I'm having to become a hair expert to do my own hair. Yeah. Because it's your hair. I know, the same way you become a skin expert to manage your skin. That's true. You know, it's just basically how it is. Let's hear a shout out for all the girlies with hormonal acne, which I didn't know I had until I went on the pill. And really? I don't have my hormones and I don't have acne anymore. So that's what that was.
Sorry, I can't speak to it.
No, I just think I'm learning a lot about the fact that like at its base form, my body is garbage. Like my skin is just like estrogen. I don't know what to do. Let's put it on her face. That's why it's so weird, the situation with my hair, because my face is very oily.
Yeah, you were saying.
And then my hair is dry as the desert.
Well, you're like, oil.
Switch it up! Switch it up, please. I'd rather have dry face, oily.
No, I have dry face.
Oily hair?
Barely, no, dry everywhere.
No, I don't want that. I said switch it up. Oily head, dry face. When I say
it's getting so bad with the skin, the dryness is like, I can feel the dryness when I touch my skin. So now when I come out of the shower, the first thing is get some moisturizer and just rub it on my face. I now have a morning routine, a night routine, which I really enjoy. I have a night routine.
It take a while.
It does. And sometimes my night routine fails because I'm one of those people, if I get tired, I just sleep. You know, you've seen it. In the middle of dinner, sleep.
Final question on this.
Yeah.
Would you ever get Botox?
No.
Wow, that was really bold.
No.
I was thinking about getting Botox. Botox is supposed to help if you are oily, if you have oily skin.
I know, yeah.
For your pores.
The only time I ever considered it was for my hands, because I have sweaty palms.
She does have sweaty palms. I know this for a fact. Because one
Yeah.
time I held her hand as a child. I said, Shoshanna, what is
I know.
And you know what was so sad?
And it's
I could tell you were like, don't hold my hand, don't hold my hand. And I was
just-
like, we're all holding hands. This is
No.
back when the girlies used to hold hands.
yeah, at school, like.
And I was like, hold my hand,
and
you're
I
my
was like,
partner.
No, I was like, no.
I was like, why's your butt wet, you weirdo?
And now it's actually getting a bit
Sweaty just
moist.
thinking about
Yeah, but it's just
Do you know what it is?
genetic.
Teenage girls need to be kinder to each other.
I know, but because of COVID, no one wants to hold hands, which is amazing.
I love to hold hands.
Apart from like if you're like with someone and you want to hold their hand.
I love to hold hands. Let's hold hands right now.
No, my hands are sweaty.
Let's hold hands right now. We have been friends for a long time. Give me your sweaty hand.
No, with my hand feels so sweaty. It's so sweaty.
It is
Look at
sweaty.
it. It is sweaty.
I love you.
Yeah, I know, but
And
I don't.
I accept your sweaty.
No,
Give it to me.
I don't like
Give me
sweaty
your
hands.
sweaty
I don't like sweaty. I
I
don't like
can't
my
believe
sweaty.
we talked your hands into being sweaty.
Yeah, like when we're talking about it, it's like, oh my god. You know that when you talk about something and then you get anxious about
Yeah.
it? That's kind of, yeah.
Listen,
Anyway.
lads, if you're listening, if you have sweaty palms,
Do not be
syndrome,
ashamed.
comment below.
Yeah.
We need to build a sweat palm.
No, we don't need to do
Oh.
that.
We do.
No, we really
And
don't.
also girls with dry scalps.
Comment down below. And if you have dry skin, throw some comments in there too.
If you have oily ass, when I tell you, if I touch my forehead right now, I could make an egg. With how so fucking greasy.
My sister has oily skin as well. I used to make
It's
so many
mad.
jokes. She'll wake up, her face is shining.
It's
and it's
crazy.
shining. And I'll be like, I wake up, my face is dull. Literally sandpaper.
I
Hers-
look like I've run
Yeah.
like a marathon or something
But
at the end of every day.
Yeah, I used to like touch a teaser and then use it on my skin. We're like, oh, grease.
It's honest, it's crazy.
That's actually really
And my
nasty.
sister doesn't have a particularly oily face. I think there's lots of. I honestly do think like it's diet
Yeah.
to some extent.
I think it's genetics as well.
Yeah, I think it's genetics, but I also just think like I must be eating things that are just being processed
Yeah.
as oil
Probably.
in my body as
Yeah.
opposed to like nutrients,
Yeah.
whatever, because it's not making sense.
Yeah.
Also, I saw a TikTok recently that said women go through double puberty.
Oh my god, one is enough. One is
And
enough.
do you know what, that makes sense because from like the ages of 0 until I was 25, this was not a problem for me.
That's so interesting.
I didn't
that
have this.
happens
And
a
then
lot
I hit
later.
25 and suddenly it was like greasy skin, acne at 25 as opposed to like teenage years
Yeah.
with good skin, uni good skin, 25 just like, where are all these fucking spots
Oh my
coming from?
gosh.
Massive pores. I just think, and I guess I'm glad because like as a teenager I wouldn't have known what to do with all of this stuff.
No.
And maybe it's good that you turn 25 and you can read magazines and stuff, so you're like, oh, I know what this is.
yeah.
But if I was 14, I would have been like, what the hell?
Also, it's like
But
the
to be fair-
embarrassment, but then by the time you turn 25, you're like, this is my skin. It is what it is. I just used to always just get the one random spot. But when you when your skin is like relatively smooth and you have that one,
It's annoying.
It is a bit.
I have
but,
one spot at the moment and I'm just like, curse you,
Yeah.
one spot.
but I get used to it. It
The
is what it is.
hyperpigmentation, just all
Yeah.
the things that you can possibly get, I have at
Yeah.
the moment. So, in short, go on the pill.
And pray.
And pray. Yep, I support that. I guess it's time for pop culture news.
Pop culture news. So, pop culture news
Yeah,
this week
yeah.
is about two things. Firstly, Kelly Rowland.
Calendria.
Oh yes, I forgot that's my full name.
What Calendria?
Oh gosh, yeah.
No, she did not work this. I didn't enjoy this.
What do you mean the
The
stories?
pop culture that we're about to, the specific thing we're going to talk about. And I think it's because, I don't know, maybe I'm still stuck in like 2007 or whenever, but when did we all collectively agree to forgive Chris Brown for beating the shit out of Rihanna?
I think people are like, time has moved on.
I
She has
haven't.
moved on. You know what happened?
I actually haven't.
When Rihanna did that duet with Chris Brown, Always Be My Baby, or something like that. No,
Uh-huh.
Ain't Nobody's Business. I think that was a sign to the world that she's forgiven him. Honestly, I think that was...
I'm sorry, there are some things where it actually doesn't matter if the victim has forgiven you. I don't think you should. I think it's a bit more... Like, imagine if you murder someone and then the ghost says they forgive you. Does that mean we have to forgive you because you're a murderer still?
Sometimes. As I mentioned in the last episode, we need to forgive. You may not need to
100%.
forget. You may not need to. You may not want to forget, but to help you with your own peace of mind, forgive and let go.
Let's say what happened, because I feel like we are. Yeah. So let's be specific about what we're talking about, because before we get carried away, Chris Brown won an award at the AMAs.
Yeah.
For male R&B artist.
Yes.
And he was not there. Kelly Rowland had announced the category, so she accepted the award on his behalf.
Yeah.
And when it said Chris Brown, the audience made sounds. It was actually quite hard to, as a viewer at home, like really detect what sounds they were making, but it was a noise. And
it definitely wasn't applause.
There were people applauding.
Okay.
I think it was probably other musicians that were applauding, but there was a sound.
Yeah.
Kelly Rowland is then to the audience that are making said noise. Excuse me. She gets a bit aunty and it's like, excuse me, remember you're inside the house now. Behave yourself. And then makes a speech on behalf of, not on behalf of Chris Brown, for Chris Brown. She says, I want to thank you for your contribution to R&B. You're a talented artist and a great musician, and we should thank you for all you contributed to us through the years. At home, and when I say at home, I mean people on Twitter. A lot of people on Twitter were like, not this Calendria. I feel like people calling you by your full name who don't know you is actually very funny. But basically everyone was like, since when did we basically start waving the flag for Chris Brown? Chris Brown is not a good guy. Is the vibe that I was getting on Twitter. This also could be based on the fact that I follow a certain type of person on Twitter, and they tend to be like sort of liberal, young artists, creative industry people, and black, and we are like, no, Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna, and whether or not Rihanna forgives him, we don't forgive him. So he should not have the career that he has. I wouldn't say I'm on the fence about this, because I would say when I saw that, I was disappointed. Yeah. And I think it's because for me, I don't understand. I don't know whether or not Chris Brown did the work who's changed his life. I feel like it was never explained to us what the hell happened to make me then forgive him. Yeah. I know that he grew up in a household where there was domestic violence. Yeah. I was like, that's not an excuse. Yeah. I know that potentially he went away and did the work. I don't know. We didn't know, yeah. It's just very weird. And I also know that I'm a person who holds a grudge. And if you said that, like, him and Rihanna have done a duet since, it's like, well, if Rihanna's over it, I should be over it. Yeah. But me personally, I won't let it go. You do something to my friend, I don't care if you two are married and you have 8 kids.
It's done.
He's a bomb.
It's hard because, I'm kind of, I was going to say the word neutral or impartial, or now don't really care much for Chris Brown. Not saying I don't care about the situation, because it was an incredibly serious issue, and domestic abuse is not something to be joking around with. When it comes to Chris Brown, he's definitely less relevant to me, and he has been basically since the moment that incident happened.
I don't think about Chris Brown.
No, I don't. And people are like, oh, Chris Brown is like the next Michael Jackson. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not.
Although I did see the clip of him preparing for the
AMAs.
I mean, there's so many things about that was like...
There's a lot of news around him, and...
Michael Jackson again. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah. Chris Brown is doing the tribute to Michael Jackson. Chris Brown is question mark, question mark, question mark. So it's like, I feel like you're setting this up for...
failure. Yeah. And then the AMAs are like, nope.
Watching him rehearse...
with Sierra, that was amazing.
I was like, that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. It did. I mean, it would have been a great performance, and maybe they could do it one day. Maybe they could do a versus and then do that. I don't think that it will be a very long versus, but anyway.
So here's a little insight into how I was raised.
Go on.
Between the ages of, I want to say 10 and 12, all my life my grandma has been a massive fan of Michael Jackson. Yeah. But when I was 10, she got a DVD of all of his music videos.
Oh my god.
And she would regularly make us watch it. And I was not a fan of Michael Jackson as a child, because I'd watched the Thriller video and I was convinced that he was in fact a demon of some sort. Yeah. So every single time she put the DVD on, I felt a pain in my chest. I was anxious, I was sad. I said, why did we have to watch this DVD again?
Wow.
So I know a lot about every single Michael Jackson video.
Same.
And weirdly, I really enjoyed the video to Billie Jean. It was really, it's so interesting because now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I can't believe I ever watched TV and thought it was real. But I really did think I thought it was real.
For real.
Yeah. I was like, that happened for real. And I don't understand why everyone's cheering for this man. He is a monster. He's a monster in the video. And no one explained to me that wasn't real.
I think I was probably more intrigued by Michael Jackson after he died. Like, it was almost...
I was definitely before. It was definitely before.
I had known of Michael Jackson before, of course. My mum was a big fan. But when he died, it's like... I'm not gonna lie, it was like almost obsessive.
When he died was when the Queen... It was as if the Queen died, but for black people.
Yeah, exactly. So I watched all his videos, listened to... Like, not all his songs, but like a lot of his
What's your
different
favourite
albums.
Michael Jackson song? No, just boom, right now, what's your favourite Michael Jackson song?
Rock With You.
Yeah, Rock With You is good. But do you know what I'm feeling at the moment?
Go on.
Something about you, baby, that makes me want to give it to you. What's that song?
Oh my, is that the newer one?
No, do you know what the song?
Oh yeah,
with
Oh, is it the one with Naomi?
Yes,
I know you talking about. That's a really that's a good.
I feel like it's been around on TikTok recently.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a jam.
Like
he made bops.
He did. I liked Liberian Girl. I liked Another Part of Me.
What's the one where he's Egyptian? Do you remember
the time?
That video.
That video.
I
saw on TikTok there was this there
were
were siblings. The siblings were dancing to it. And I was like, that's what I want my kids to be doing. They're like, this is what we do on Friday nights as a family. And they were literally the two of them were like, bam bam.
As soon as I saw that, if I ever see that choreography, I immediately know what video.
Yeah, same. So I think with a lot of Michael Jackson songs I do. What other ones? Yeah.
The video for like. So I think there's two videos to Liberian Girl, but there's one where it's a bunch of celebrities.
Yeah, that's
and they're waiting for Michael Jackson to come.
At the end, he's like, "I've been here the whole time." I'm like, "Come on!"
As a kid, I was like, "Wow,
yeah,
Robin Williams."
And everyone's like, "Yes." I always think though, and I
just think the video to Thriller is brilliant. Now that
exactly. I was like, no, it's terrible. Yeah, I would skip that. It was terrible, especially the last frame when he turns, runs the camera, and he does this like devilish look. I'm like, no, I'm good.
And also, I have a soft spot in my heart for the video to Bad because it's very West Side Story.
Yeah,
it's like two rival gangs dancing.
I'll be honest,
this is gay.
Yeah.
People were saying Michael Jackson's gay. This is the gayest video he's ever done.
I always say
guys in leather being doing pliés, fucking pirouettes. I was like, this is the gayest video I've ever seen.
It was giving me like Flashdance.
Yes. There was a guy on roller skates. I remember who's slowly moonwalking. Oh my god, iconic! Yeah. All of these videos are iconic.
I would say this about the Bad video because before Bad, Michael Jackson hadn't really been in the public light, especially he hadn't done music. Version. Yes, for about almost multiple years. And I think I asked my mum, like, what happened when you first watched the Bad video? Because it's like me and you after...
His hair was a different texture.
Yeah, his hair was a different texture. He looked significantly lighter. And his face was different.
White. Yeah, he looked significantly lighter. He was fully white.
No, he wasn't. He was mixed race by that point. Then when he got to the next album, he was white.
Yeah.
So my thing was...
This man was fully black. He's mixed race now.
His skin was giving me more caramel.
He's giving light skin.
Yeah, he's light skin. He was a light skin boy.
And Chris Brown.
Yeah, exactly. But I always say that because I imagine like us after like Crazy in Love and before Beyonce did like B-Day. I mean, yeah, before she B-Day, she came back and she became significantly darker or significantly lighter.
I live. Well, she did.
Did she?
Because Lemonade came out and she was like, I'm black.
Oh yeah.
You guys were questioning before?
Yeah,
black,
yeah, but I mean, it's like we knew she was black.
Yeah, but there's a great SNL skit about white people finding out that Beyonce's black, and then they came out.
I was finished,
and it did make me think about how like her music had shifted. Like it was a real departure from like poppy music. Yeah, she said, "Hello,
I'm here.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I've got my braids to the floor."
Said, I see it. I want it. That's what she said. That's what she did.
I can't imagine how it would have been seeing this complete shift in your favorite artist. And that was extreme. I'm not gonna lie. Michael Jackson Thriller to Michael Jackson Bad is a different person. The music was still great, but it's different.
I mean, like Off the Wall as well as a song, but as a video.
Off the Wall, yeah.
Listen to my head.
No, because they're great. You know what? Basically, Thriller is a replica of Off the Wall, the whole album. So it's Off the Wall supposed to be like Thriller.
And his little suit, singing his little songs.
Yeah, exactly.
The video to Rock With You is just him in a green screen, like this.
It's like the most makeshift video. And then what other ones?
Girl, Close Your Eyes. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I'm closing my eyes.
So there's other like replicas. Wanna Be Starting Something is very similar to Working Day and Night. You can do parallels between the different songs from the album. Yeah.
I don't like any of the newer stuff.
The newer stuff was really... It got weird.
I like Scream. Because him and
Janet.
I like the video for Scream is what I mean. The song's not brilliant. The video is great.
But that's...
choreography
that's
together,
cool.
their little weird plastic PVC suits.
Yeah, God.
It's literally just the two of them in that video on like a spaceship.
Oh, there was some background to it. I think Janet
Jackson...
Jackson
had great videos.
Yeah, he did. Janet Jackson did a documentary and talks about how like tense it was to do that video.
Why?
And I can imagine.
Because you want to speak to him?
Yeah, I think he was quite afraid, the relationship at that point. Yeah. Also,
why they sang that song? Because it was called Scream, and I was screaming at each other.
I don't even know. Yeah, probably were.
Janet!
Yes, come on, speak up.
Spill the beans, Janet.
Yeah. I liked Earth Song, but again, problematic.
That song was chaos.
It's problematic.
As a video, even I was like,
yeah.
you're making it seem like the world is dying today. As a kid, I thought we were not going to make it to 2000 based on that video. And here we are, 2022. Well, guess who's here and who's not here? Michael.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I'm sorry to Paris and Blanket.
Anyway, back to Chris Brown. I don't have much of an opinion on him. And I'm also, it's just interesting that Kelly took that stance.
I think it's unfair to Kelly to blame her for Chris's misdemeanors, should we say?
Yeah, exactly.
Just to go back to what I said the week before.
Yeah.
We have, as a collective black experience, we need to make a decision as to who we want to co-sign and who we don't want to co-sign. And Kelly is well within her rights to back someone we don't back.
Yeah.
And I will say that the people that were disappointed online weren't like, we hate Kelly Rowland. They were just like, not this. So if Kelly loves Chris Brown, good on her.
Yeah,
she has to remember this woman is our auntie.
For real, actually.
Yeah,
she is for real.
Kelly Rowland might look like one of us, but she's not.
Yeah, but she also will check you because we were talking before.
Because she's our auntie.
Yes. That DJ, DJ Peter Rosenberg, who asked her how it felt to be in Beyonce's shadow, and she was like, no, we all have our lights and we all shine in different ways. End the conversation.
Justice for Michelle.
Justice always for Michelle. She came and she always gave some really interesting bridges. She always gave like a different dynamic to the group and the harmonies.
I'll take the good. You're beautiful. I love the way you are. Fulfill my every desire. Your wish is my command. I want to cater to my man. Your heart, so pure. Your love shines.
Those lyrics have aged badly.
We understand so much of me is you. Let me cater to my man. I know her whole bit.
Yeah. The thing is, Michelle was always unique. Her voice was always...
I apologise to listeners for having to listen to that.
Yeah.
There was no lyrics.
There's a big chance that could get cut from the
Keep it in.
No, I just mean it's like, I don't know.
Justice for Michelle.
Justice for Michelle.
Period.
I think Chris Brown, ever since it's happened, you will always be divisive in the industry. You will always be a question mark, and it is what it is. But there's some people that love your music and will still listen and still support, and you're still in the game. But there's some people that just won't, and you will get cancelled from doing the AMA's performance. It is what it is.
I actually think that AMA's performance had more to do with Michael Jackson being cancelled from Michael Jackson rather than it was for Chris Brown.
Yeah.
But
who thought? Because it was like anniversary, wasn't it?
Our second piece of pop culture news is about the 1975. I don't know how much you know about the 1975. I know one song from the 1975, which was probably on the Made in Chelsea podcast. Made in Chelsea soundtrack.
Yeah.
I am not above admitting that a lot of music that I know is from soundtracks of TV shows I've watched. I'm not ashamed of that.
No, the only thing, like, if it's a good show and a good soundtrack,
Films,
I'm going to listen to it multiple times.
If there is a great scene and there's a song playing, I need to know what song that is.
True.
And so I knew one of their songs because it played in a Made in Chelsea episode.
Yeah.
And honestly, I used to like a lot of the music from the Made in Chelsea soundtrack, to be honest. There were songs that I already knew, so... I love the theme tune to it. Anyway, we're not going to get to Made in Chelsea.
Yeah, because I haven't watched it in like 5 years. But yeah, another day, another
we'll
story.
So 1975 had a concert recently in Canada, I think.
Okay.
And they brought a female fan on stage. And then the lead singer, Matt Healy, proceeded to kiss her.
Open mouth.
On the mouth. Tongues, probably.
Oh.
And then, in case you were thinking, hey man, that's not cool, he brought a man on stage and also kissed him. So this is equal opportunity kissing.
Yeah, but without any consent.
No consent.
No.
I'm sure the consent is when he brings you on stage, you have to just be prepared to get kissed.
No.
When they're like, come on stage, that is a point where you need to ask yourself, do I want to be smooched?
No, I think when you go on stage, you have to think, do I want to embarrass myself by singing with the lead, who's a much better singer than me, and then him throwing the mic to me going, now I'll sing along, and I'll be like,
I'm sorry, if Lady Gaga brought me on stage, I actually would not be worried about singing. I'd be
would you be worried about her kissing you?
No, both of those things I'd be prepared for. I'd be like, play paparazzi. I'm your biggest fan. Completely off me.
Literally, they should take the mic off you going, don't worry, baby.
Where's my kiss, Lady Gaga? Stephanie, where's my kiss?
Then she'll throw the mic to the stage going, sing along.
Is there any artist that you think, if they tried to make you sing their song, you'd be completely prepared?
Beyonce.
You think you could sing
words?
No,
not
that's
match.
what I'm saying.
I mean, like, words-wise.
No, I mean comfortably sing the same.
Brandy.
You're absolutely young.
What? I can sing with Brandy.
You think you can sing with Boy's Mind?
Yeah. I'm not doing it now.
Why'd you do the things you do?
Like a fool.
There's a lot of rest in that song.
Yeah.
Okay, work.
Not today, but Sierra.
Work.
Rihanna, yes, flipping. Rihanna.
Work. Bitch, better have my money. I could do Rihanna's discography. I don't think I can do it. Oh.
Missy.
I'd love to be able to sing like Doja Cat can sing. I can't. But I can do the
Doja
rap.
Cat, I feel like I can do the singing, but I can't do the rap. Lauryn Hill, I wish I could sing like her.
Oh, come on. Yes, absolutely. Lauryn Hill would eat you up.
Yeah, I wish. I'm saying I wish I could sing like her.
Spice Girls.
Any day of the week.
Yeah, because they're old now as well.
No!
Swing it, shake it,
move it, baby. Who do you think you are? Again, still our tune, but we will be with them because they'll be mic'd up, but they're all miming.
I need someone like I never needed love before.
Wanna make love to your baby.
That sounds sick.
Yeah,
I know it does.
Honestly.
I can't hear it, but I know it
I was like
good.
Britney. Yeah.
What song?
Any of them.
Really?
Give me more. Give me more. Give me more. Yeah, why not? Maroon 5. Yeah.
I bet you think.
Yeah.
They're men. That doesn't
Yeah.
count.
I love singing men's songs.
Yeah, obviously, because it's easier.
Yeah. Who else?
So no, before we do that, because I feel
Bruno.
like you think you can sing a Bruno Mars song?
Yeah.
You think you can sing Locked Out of Heaven?
You make me feel like
my ears.
I can locked out of heaven. No, okay, maybe not.
You don't even have the breath control to sing.
No,
that.
I mean I have been drinking. Also, I've been just sing. Yeah, let me train my voice. Let me do my vocal riffs.
I think I can sing any Kings of Leon song.
Your sex is on fire. That's
First
really
of all,
not.
That was bad. Second of all,
yeah, obviously.
They're much lower than that. First of all.
Okay, I'm not gonna try.
Yeah, don't.
I don't have the energy today.
I'm not gonna try either. But I'm saying if they brought me on top, I'd be like, lay where I'm laying, don't make a sound. I'd be singing like I'm in school choir. I know you're watching. You're watching.
Oh my god. So
really, if you decide to sing like you're in a school choir, you can actually sing any song.
I think I agree. That's why I was saying Brandy.
Bills, keep paying my automobiles.
I don't think you do. So you and me all through. So yeah, if any artist brought you on stage,
Disney Child brought me on stage. I'd cry and throw up.
I'll cry. I'll be like, Michelle, get out of the way.
This is my Kelly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wishing you the best, praying you are blessed.
Can you keep up?
Baby boy, release my breath.
Don't worry, I know the choreo. Don't worry,
Don't worry, I can do all.
In fact, Bill, you get to back. I think I've got this. Hit me.
She is going to send you off the stage the way she did it at the Super Bowl halftime. One stage she finished the set with Michelle and Kelly. She was like, say thank you to my ladies, get off the stage.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'd be like, thank you so much for this opportunity, Destiny's Child. I think I'm going to bring my own Destiny's Child up. Girls, let's go.
Yeah. I don't think I could beat any of these artists.
It's not about beating, I'm saying match. Like, do you remember that bit where Beyonce singing? It's Beyonce, she's singing Irreplaceable, then she leans into the audience, and that person is singing, and she looks surprised. He's like, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I was always saying, could you get a surprise face on that artist's face?
Maybe, but I need to, perfectly honest, if I'm in a concert setting, and I'm singing my heart out, my voice is not there anymore. It's absolute. I remember when I went to go see Beyonce, and it's like she was singing 1+1, and I was sitting in the nosebleed seats, like the 400 level, that kind of seats, and I'm there singing like 1+1 = 2, and I'm like, my voice doesn't even exist. I was with my sister. She was out of it. She was tired. She was having a headache because of the noise. And I'm sitting there going, 1+1 = 2. I was like, yes, Beyonce.
When I went to see Drake, all of the videos had to just get deleted because you could just hear me, my friend in the background being like, I'll take care of you.
I'll be honest, Drake. I could take Drake.
You think you could take Drake?
Yeah.
You could be singing.
I better find your love. Yeah.
I better find your heart.
I better find...
Can't say what you're saying. Bitches in my old phone. I should go on and go home. I made all this road.
I'm gonna do all the song. I'm gonna do all the singing songs.
Try.
I don't do the rap.
I'm happy with a good guy.
I'm gonna go my hotline bling. Hotline bling.
That could only mean one thing.
These days I've been singing someone else.
We don't know any of the words. It's just
all you need to do is have attitude. Once you have the attitude, it's fine.
I would say the older I get, the harder it is for me to retain lyrics.
Yeah, same.
You played me a song from when I was 12. I'll know all the words.
It's so pretty. Like Aaliyah, Try Again is one of my favorite songs. I think I know every single word.
Oh,
to
do you
it.
know I can sing Hey Ya? I think my baby.
Yeah.
Mess around, like she loves me so.
But I think everyone can sing Hey Ya.
But I know the words
and the dance
song as well.
Hey Ya, hey.
Yeah.
But if Outkast brought you on stage and tried to kiss
Oh,
you,
100% because of both of them.
oh my, both.
Sorry, the Love Below and Speaker Box album really shaped me as a young adult.
I remember you.
That was
loving
my first,
that album,
that was my first album my mum ever bought me, and it was parental guidance. And I remember having to be like, I had to write like a pros and cons list. Like, if you buy me this album, I will be good at school, and also I won't do this. Cut to me listening to the album during lessons. I had a CD player, and I would put one headphone through the sleeves of my jumper and be sat like this.
Oh my gosh,
And then our other friend, Caroline from the last episode, would have the other ear. We would just both be in history like...
I can't believe that.
And that's why I know all the words to them, because I listened to that album like religiously every single day, multiple times. And my cousin also did the same thing. And
is it the one that's got Talking Miss Jackson?
No, it's the one that has... Roses really smell like boo hoo hoo.
That's it, yeah.
That song. Oh, she got a honey body. My cousin could
see every single.
You could do a karaoke of that entire album. We'd sing every single song.
We need to do karaoke soon.
I'd love to do karaoke. But as you can tell, we're such good singers. Amazing.
I mean, I don't know how much of this will end up in the podcast.
Yeah, you listen back, you're like, this actually hurts my ears.
Yeah, my ears are bleeding. We'll do a little disclaimer at the beginning, like.
You were gonna have. I listened to a podcast recently by two people who I love, and they did it. They are American, and they did it the whole episode in really bad British accents. Oh, I listened to the whole episode. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
Their accents were bad, but I just enjoyed the commitment to the bit. So anyway, going back to the 1975 and Matt Healy, brought people on stage and brought a female audience member, smooch her. Yeah. Brought a male audience member on and smooched him. It's equal opportunity smooching. So the question I posed to Shoshanna was, is there a musician who, if they brought you on stage and smooched you, you would be fine with it? Not fine, but you would allow it? No. Shoshanna. Okay. So basically, for the sake of argument. Yeah, for the sake of argument. So basically, I went through my on repeat list, and we can do that now. And I can just ask you a couple, and you can say yay or nay, and I'll tell you my yay or nay. But let's, spoiler alert, most of them will be no. Just because such a hater.
I'm not a hater. I just have standards. So.
Sorry, remember this person is a platinum selling artist before you're like, I have standards, only date multi-platinum, please.
I have Burna Boy here. And I said no.
But I'm saying, imagine the scenario, you're at a Burna Boy concert, you're sweating, everyone in the crowd is sweating, dancing, doing, yeah. He's like, I'm thinking someone in the crowd. I'm thinking someone in the crowd, the hottest person in the crowd, who picked you, brought you up on stage, time to kiss, you're telling me you're not going to kiss him.
No.
Oh, Shoshanna, you lie.
I'll be like,
you never been so thin.
Let me go and chop my breakfast. Shayo.
I think I'm kissing Burna Boy, but I feel like afterwards I'd be like, I need to take some time
to think about my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go be in church.
Yeah.
I need to change my ways.
I'll be like, yeah.
No, you'd be on the front. You'd be on the stage saying, yeah.
I'll be yeah, as I'm backing away real fast. I've got Stormzy.
No.
I'll say no. I'll say
I wouldn't even be at Stormzy.
I'll be like, shut up.
I wouldn't even be at Stormzy concert. How do I get
I would. I think like Stormzy.
First of all, for me to be at Stormzy concert, if he brought me on stage trying to kiss me, I'm like, where's my drummer? Where is she? I'm not getting in between any more love. I don't want to be in a love triangle. Let me go.
I think
he's the most publicly in love with this girl.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not getting involved.
No, I feel like also I'll be like, I respect you so much, Stormzy. I don't want to kiss you.
I don't respect you. So you only kiss men you don't respect?
No, I'm.
Get her.
Let me rephrase. Like Stormzy's like a brother. He's like
he like a brother? Do you know the dude?
I don't know the dude, but he's like, you know, like you want to support him and you just don't want to. You don't see him like that way. That's how I feel about like male friends. He's like a male friend. Done.
Next.
Harry Styles.
Pass.
I said
Smash.
No.
It's a pass from me.
I said no because I know how many people he's been smooching.
First of all, Harry Styles is the person that if you told me they smooched every single gender in their audience, I would agree.
Yeah, same.
I believe it.
I feel like he'd be like Matt Healy. He'll smooch Matt Healy.
He's Matt Healy. He's smooching Matt Healy.
Yeah, but I think for me personally, it's a no.
Who's next?
I had Jamiroquai.
Honestly, I do think I would smooch Jamiroquai.
I think probably would. Maybe I would.
I think it would be a good grown-up kiss.
I think it'd be like a story.
Not the point.
Yeah, I've got Kirk Franklin. No, he's like my pastor. So no. Make me clap my hands.
I don't want to be telling people that I kiss. So imagine people telling people that you kissed Kirk Franklin on stage.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't want to do that.
No.
Would I want to kiss him? That's a separate thing. But would I want to kiss him on stage so people know the story? Absolutely
no. I've got Johnny Nash.
Next, honey.
Yeah, why not? The Weeknd, yes.
Yeah, I'd smooch The Weeknd. But he also seems like a person who kisses anyone.
Yeah, but I just feel like, again, I feel it'd be a good kiss. He also looks very similar to my celebrity crush.
That's
Trevor
true,
Noah.
so you should probably kiss The Weeknd.
I'll kiss The Weeknd. And I wouldn't want to kiss him on the weekday. Boom.
Honestly, I'm doing a podcast with the dad, by the way. That's what you guys feel like that dad is doing a podcast with me.
Oh, God. Okay, I have Lizzo.
I would smooch Lizzo.
I wouldn't.
I would smooch Lizzo.
Elton John, maybe.
Not maybe. I'm not kissing Elton John.
I just feel like, I mean,
first of all, song he sings, I'm still standing.
I'm like, I'm
still
still standing with you. Yeah, I think it would. Yeah. I don't have any more on my list, but you can tell me a couple. Coldplay.
Oof, that's a difficult one. I feel like me 10 years ago, I would have smooched.
Yeah.
The lead singer of Coldplay. He was married to
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah. I feel like that made him go down in my
esteem.
It
did. It really did. It's like he gave her credit, but it wasn't the other way around.
I don't know. Would I smooch? Nah. It's just like Coldplay is such the least rock and roll band.
No.
Like imagine being like, yeah, so I've kissed the lead singer of Coldplay. I feel like whoever you told would be like, you're lame.
No. Okay. Silk Sonic, which is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, both same.
Yeah,
both.
Same.
Yeah. Which one more? No, you know
Anderson
what?
.Paak.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah, I know you were going to say Bruno.
I knew you were going to say Anderson .Paak. Yeah.
Yep.
See? I don't have any more people on my list.
Who was on my list? It's so difficult. RuPaul.
No.
Would you not speak to RuPaul?
No. I think I'll be really just admired by her presence.
Her presence, but not his presence. When he's a man, you're not interested. When he's a woman, you are interested.
I'm intrigued by both.
Who would you smooch anyone from Kings of Leon? Since I've already
I don't even know their faces.
Names are Jared Followill, Kayla Followill.
Oh,
They're siblings.
Okay. Oh, they look like short kings of Leon. So
Leon. They have a cousin called Leon, by the way.
Really?
What's their cousin? The cousin who plays the drums. No,
I think,
cousin who does the bass.
Yeah,
is
I
called
think
Leon,
again, short kings of Leon.
I would kiss Caleb. And honestly, I would kiss the drummer brother as well. Actually, I kiss all of them.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, so it's yes for you.
I'm not classy. I kiss every single one of them. Would you kiss Madonna?
No.
Would you kiss Lady Gaga?
No.
Are you saying no because they're women or because of the opportunity?
Both.
Would you kiss Miguel?
I said yes, but I may have to scooch down a bit.
I think I'd kiss Miguel.
I think I would.
Would you kiss Neo?
It's so hard.
No, but
wait, it's going to be legit.
1, 2, 3. Would you kiss Neo?
Is he wearing a hat?
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, Matt. No, without that.
Neo in his sexy love era.
Sexy love.
Where he's wearing a hat.
Would you kiss Neo?
Yes.
Good.
Would you?
I would kiss Akon. No. If I'm being deadly serious, I would probably kiss Neo.
Go on,
Akon. Would you kiss Eminem? No. Yeah.
No.
I wouldn't kiss. No. Would you kiss 50 Cent?
No.
I think I'd kiss 50 Cent.
No, I feel like he would drag me for some. I don't want to give him the opportunity to drag you.
On the dance, on the stage, dragging.
No, literally, you know, because he's just so good at shades.
No, I'm saying this is only solely kiss opportunity, no dragging.
No, I'm okay.
Would you kiss Wendy Williams? She's not.
No. Yeah, but that was just going into the industry. No, I wouldn't kiss Wendy Williams. I'd be praying for her. Yeah. Should we just actually get back on track?
Let's do it. I can't wait. But let's get to the. Last week I called it the meat and potatoes. Now I'm going to call it. Let's get to the bulk of the episode.
Oh.
It's the review, honey. The review for today's episode is The Bear. It was a show commissioned by FX, which you can watch on Disney Plus in the UK. It was created by a man called Chris Storer, which is not a name I recognise.
No.
But in doing some research, I realised he's been an exec producer on a lot of comedy specials. I don't know if that adds anything to your watching of the show, but we'll get into that further. He produced the TV show Rami, if anyone's seen it. And the film 8th Grade, which was written by Bo Burnham.
Okay.
Yes. He also directed some episodes of Dickinson, which I don't know if you've...
Oh, is it the one on Apple Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which I watched the first episode of that back when I did not have a subscription to Apple, so I couldn't watch more. I really enjoyed the way it was put together, actually. Okay. It's a period drama, but it has a very youthful, current, contemporary feel. He also directed episodes of Rami, and he directed the People Just Do Nothing movie.
Okay, I haven't heard of that.
People Just Do Nothing is a great series on the BBC. If
you
like,
I have not heard of that series.
Garage music. It's about a pirate radio station in North London.
Does it start with Reggie Yates?
No.
Okay.
You're thinking of a CBBC show.
TikTok, there's some ka-ching!
Not ka-ching.
No, not ka-ching either.
And this is the first thing he's ever... a first scripted TV series that he's written, produced and directed.
Okay.
Yeah. He wrote the first 5 episodes, I think.
Wow.
Or 3 episodes.
Okay. It's good to have that background and good to know some of his credentials, especially in the comedy world, because I didn't particularly see The Bear as a comedy, but I think we should give actually some synopsis. What is the show about?
So The Bear is about a deli. Is that what you call those? A sandwich shop.
Sandwich shop, yeah.
In America. The owner of the shop, Michael, I think his surname is Berzerato, has recently blown his head off on a bridge in Chicago, which they tell us in episode 7, I feel like, the details of. And he left the sandwich shop to his brother, Carmen, is called Carmi, or sometimes called Bear. And he was working at like a Michelin-starred restaurant, apparently the best restaurant in the world, as the other characters on the show refer to it. And, you know, his brother dies, he inherits the shop, he decides he's come to the restaurant and he wants to change things and make it better. At the restaurant, already working there is his cousin Richie, There is a cast of chefs, but they don't really call themselves chefs at the beginning of the show. They're just sort of people that work at this restaurant.
Yeah.
And this restaurant is in 330k amount of debt. Yeah. Because Michael, the now dead brother, took a loan out with a family friend and owes him money. So when we meet Kami, he is already up to his eyeballs at the restaurant. It's quite a chaotic place to work, and it is not making enough money. And the series basically follows him working at this restaurant, he hires one new member of staff, and the two of them are trying to turn this into a kitchen that you would see in a Michelin star restaurant. Even though the staff at the restaurant are quite stubborn about things need to be done the same way that they've been done the entire time, and we don't want to change. And it ends up being, you come into it and you think it's a workplace drama, but actually it's a story about grief and family. Yeah. It's about food as well, and I think one of the things that came across quite beautifully, as a viewer watching it, I found myself genuinely being like, one, I love watching people cook, actually, and I get why people love food. I get why people love making food. Yeah. And they talk a lot about how the reason why a lot of them work at that restaurant is because they want to make people feel good through the food that they make. But these are people who themselves don't feel great. Yeah. And so it's quite an interesting dynamic to want to make other people feel good while you yourself are hurting. And Kami is sort of, his grief is manifesting in almost physical ways. He's having nightmares, heart palpitations. He keeps, at one point he wakes up in the night and he's at his stove trying to cook food that's still in the box. Yeah. And it almost starts a fire in his apartment. Yeah. And so he's very much in the midst of his grief. And the reason why him and his sister, who doesn't work at the restaurant but co-signed for it, are in the midst of their grief is because their brother never left them a note. Yeah. He didn't leave them anything. They didn't even know he was battling a substance abuse issue. Yeah. And it came as a complete surprise to them. And so, obviously death, I feel like, no matter what the thing is, does have a habit of blindsiding you. Like, even when you're like, this person's really old, or this person's been sick for a while, you still don't get a date to prepare for. Yeah. And they're definitely two people, and they're handling it in very different ways. Yeah. And so when you come in the beginning of the series, I don't know about you, but I felt very much like, okay, this is a show about some people grieving, and it's about a restaurant. Yeah, no, I don't know if I wasn't not sold, but I just wasn't like, I wasn't excited. No, I think the first episode. No, I think when it started, I was thinking this is a drama, which we'll go into a bit more detail, but I also felt like this is about like mental health, grief, the pressures of working in the kitchen. So I was mentioning to Marnie offline that my brother works in a kitchen as like a waiter, but he would tell us stories about how stressful it is to be a chef and how you are constantly on. So you never really have a work-life balance. Mm-hmm. I know there's loads of girls out there going, I want to marry a chef because he's going to cook for me. I'm like, bruh, after watching this show, I think you should just I've also
let that to rest.
A lot about that outside of the show. Yeah. Like, I don't think you want to marry a chef.
No, and there's the pressures. And I think throughout the series you see moments of, I'll probably be honest, a bit of PTSD of working in that Michelin style restaurant and the pressures that are under chefs and sous chefs in that industry. So yeah, that's what I thought the story was going to be about, like him being a chef, and then they start to incorporate the backstory. So, his grief of his brother, the brother committed suicide. We didn't know why, we didn't know how. And a lot of that was just started to be peeled like an onion, episode by episode, but only with small glimpses. But a lot of what was very prevalent was that, like, Kami is not well. Yeah. And he is trying his hardest to make things happen with the limited resources that he has in his disposal. And again, it's like he's got an ambition because he was this, like, groundbreaking, brand new chef that was celebrated, and now coming home to this basically dump of a deli that is, dirty and, low rated, and he's trying to transform something that he just doesn't have the capacity to do. So yeah, I felt like as a starting point, it was very interesting as to what the position of the show was going to be, and also how they painted Kami as a main lead.
Yeah.
But then as you started to watch the series, the best way to describe it is just organized chaos.
Yeah. So you come in, and one of the first things that you sort of work out is that Kami isn't running the restaurant on his own. His brother Michael ran the restaurant with their cousin Richie, and Richie is sort of a front of house type of character. I wouldn't really refer to him as a chef. Richie is also played by Eben Mosbarak, who coincidentally played Desi on Girls. So it's almost like a family reunion.
Yeah.
Sitting down, and you get to like the second or third scene, and I was like, isn't that Desi from...
Yeah.
Now, Desi, what are you doing out here in Chicago land?
Yeah.
He's a very complicated character.
Absolutely.
I think Richie, he kind of wants to be a bit of a Jack the Lad. And actually, when you get to the end of the series and you learn more about Michael, you actually explains a lot more about Richie. In that, like, Richie is a character that you put alongside a Michael character who's also really outgoing and people love him. And you have his sort of cousin who is like a sidekick to him. And without Michael there, Richie is just this sort of like chaotic, loud, problematic figure.
Yeah.
Like in the first episode, he calls Sydney, who is the female chef who joins the restaurant, sweetheart. And then it's like, this isn't a Me Too thing. I call everyone sweetheart. But also... I'm not going to keep... I'm not going to get... And then continues to call her sweetheart throughout the series.
He calls her sweetheart, he calls her aggressive.
Yes. And he's very much like old school, if there's a problem, we'll settle it with violence type of guy.
One of the things, just to jump in, that I completely agree about the whole idea that Richie wasn't Richie without Mikey or Michael, was that scene with the date where he was talking about the story with... who was a celebrity that like...
Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray was like...
They were at a deli in New York.
Yeah, and Bill Murray came to them and like spoke to them, and he recorded Bill Murray's voice. And the woman that he was having dinner with couldn't care less. She could have been a bit more enthusiastic, but you know... when you go on some dates and you know
100%, I got
this ain't the one.
And I feel like it's a very good scene, a very well constructed scene, because I got it from her perspective and I got it from his, where he's like, I'm telling a story that's really... Like, to me, that's the pinnacle of, like, comedy and personality and who I am.
Yeah.
Please respond to it.
Yeah, please get it.
And then for her, she was like, this story is nothing.
Yeah. And
I don't even like the guy that you're describing.
Yeah.
Who would like this story?
Yeah. And for him, he's going back to a funny, crazy moment in his life with Michael, where they were just being the friends that they've always been, and, you know, probably living life to the full, and then he's speaking to someone who's just like, in the real world, this is nothing.
Yeah, or more than anything, she was like, you know, why were you so drunk on a Wednesday at like 6 a.m? Which is a really good question. Yeah. Because we don't really know how old he is, but we get the impression that he was not young. He has a daughter.
Yeah.
And a partner who he's separated from. And that we get is because of him. He's done something to ruin that relationship. And so it's like, you could have a life where you have a partner and a wife and a child and you could be living well, but something about you is stopping you from living that life. And there's a bit which I found really arresting, where he was talking about how his ex has him saved in her phone as Richie Bad News. Yeah. And his daughter had asked him, is his real name Bad News? And that's how he'd found out that he was saved. And I was like, I just, like, yeah... You can't do stuff like that, can you? No. You can't do stuff like that. And how upsetting. Like, if I don't like you as a person, like, two of us adults, this relationship's gone south, I don't like you. I don't want to colour how my child sees you, because they have a completely different relationship to you. Yeah. As I have to you. Yeah. But sometimes those things sort of bleed in. And him being really heartbroken that his daughter had to ask him that. You get the impression that he wants to be a good father, and wants to be seen as a good person in his daughter's eyes, but he doesn't conduct himself in any specific way to make that happen. Yeah. And in the series, he does end up punching someone so hard that they almost die.
Oh my gosh!
I was so nervous.
Same.
I was like, please don't make the show end on him going to prison for manslaughter, because. for once, I don't think he was trying to be a bad guy. I just think he is a guy who belongs to a certain time where men solved problems with their fists, and if there's a fight happening, I'm not going in there to be diplomatic. I'm going in there to be like, I'm going to be the scariest dude in here so people stop fighting.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a loose cannon. I think it's a nice way to describe him on the show.
Which, ironically, is kind of similar to his character
as
Desi in Girls.
In Girls, he doesn't start off like that.
No.
Him and Adam get cast in a show.
Yeah.
That's how he comes into the show. Marnie meets him because he's there at an after party with Adam and blah blah. He seems like he has his shit together. And then he doesn't get cast in anything else for a while. And soon, him and Marnie start a band. And then it becomes clear that people like Marnie more in the band than they like him.
Yes.
And so people are suggesting that Marnie goes solo without him. And then he becomes this sort of parasite stuck to her side, constantly, neurotically paranoid that she's going to leave him. And the thing that was appealing to him completely goes for her. So she's by this point they're married.
Crap, I forgot.
So she's sort of stuck with this guy, and it's a really weird thing because Marnie up until that point is so like prim and proper and would never make a decision like that, and then suddenly makes a decision to marry Desi, and it is absolutely a flop. But when she's with Desi is when we have one of the best episodes where she bumps into Charlie and they have their little day out.
Oh my god, and then they kiss at the end.
Yeah, and then and that's when she comes back to Desi and says, I don't want to be with you anymore.
That was such a crazy episode.
I love that episode.
That's crazy. The thing is, you remember so much about Girls.
I
feel like I have to rewatch it.
I've watched it quite a few times.
I forgot that Desi and Marnie were in the relationship.
Yeah.
I just remember Desi being a bit of a bum. And that's why I was like, wow, is either this actor's been typecasted or his life is actually a mess, or he just knows how to play a really messed up character.
One of my favourite bits about Desi from that show is Marnie and Hannah go to like a summer house for like the weekend.
Wait, is this like our favourite episode, the beach house?
After the beach house.
Okay.
They go to like a house in like the New York suburbs. And Marnie's like, I've broken up with Desi, so let's the two of us like try and reconnect. And it's an episode where you realise like too much has happened for them to be as close as they ever were before. But Desi turns up and is like insisting on coming into the house, and they're screaming, and it becomes like a horror show, like a horror odyssey where they're like locking all the doors, they close the windows, and he's banging on the windows. He's like, "You're all bitches and cunts. You're all bitches and cunts." And for some reason, that sticks in my head because when Adam is annoyed at Hannah, he also refers to them as bitches and cunts, and so I feel like it became like a sort of running thing in the show, whenever any of the men were annoyed at the women, they would refer to them as bitches and cunts. And I always think,
wow.
I always think like I don't know why that's so funny to me to refer to someone as a bitch and a cunt.
I just also
because I feel like cunt is so much worse
it's
than
so
a bitch anyway.
cutting. It's such a cutting word.
We're both bitches and cunts in their American accent as well. I don't know. Yeah. That's what whenever I think of Desi, that's exactly the scene I imagine. Him banging on the window, high as a kite, because he also developed a pill addiction.
Oh yes, he did.
Girls.
Yeah.
So he's high as a kite, trying to break into the house, calling them bitches and cunts.
Yeah. It's just it's just so interesting how the casting happened with the show.
But but I think going back to that first, one of the other things you know about him really early on is that he finds a note to Carmen from his brother. Decides not to give it to him, and in that moment, I read that as like he.
Talking of notes.
Oh my god! Sorry, I just randomly found a thing about my sofa inside of my sofa that I've never seen this before in my life.
Which is a hidden note.
A hidden note.
As if you were on the bear.
I know.
Yeah.
Richie finds a note from Mikey for Carmen and doesn't give it to him. And like, in that first episode I said, oh, that's juicy. Like as a drama note of being like, we see Richie find the note. We see Richie be conflicted. He walks to the office. He's going to leave it on Carmen's desk. And then he goes, no. And I think, what does that tell us about this character? Yeah. Like, he's so spiteful. Because Richie is upset that Carmen is there. He is upset because he ran the restaurant with Mikey. And if Mikey's dead, he should be able to run the restaurant without him. but Mikey has apparently got his kid brother to come in and be the boss.
Even though when he was alive, he never got his brother
Exactly.
to come in to help in the restaurant. Again, this celebrated well-talented brother.
Yeah.
He could have done the job.
And so there's a bit of a hierarchy issue between the two of them, and add on the fact that they're cousins and the one's older than the other. I just feel like that's such a naughty, like, you can't fix that with a conversation. And that first episode is very much about the hierarchy. And I remember watching that and being like, okay, that was my feeling. I was like, okay, I wasn't blown away from that by that first episode. I felt like actually a lot of things were introduced that I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to be holding on to.
Yeah.
And then for me, got to the 4th episode.
So 3 episodes later.
3 episodes later.
Yeah.
They are, in order to try and chip away at the debt that they have, they decide to cater a kids' party. And when I tell you that episode was actually purely comedy.
Yes.
It starts with them trying to get this massive hot dog into the car and fighting over the hot dog. But the point that actually made me laugh out loud was Kami is at the kids' party and he's setting up the table. He's made like drinks. He's making food, and this old man comes up to him and goes, "Carmen," and he's like, "Hi, Mr. Whatever," and the man's like, "I thought you were dead," and he's like, "No, that was my brother." And I thought it was so funny because that's such a dead person joke. Like when you have a family member that's dead and someone references them, and you just in a very flat, matter of fact way are like, "No, that's my brother who died. He killed himself." I think that's what the old man said. I thought he blew your brains out on the.
Oh yeah, and that's why I'm talking to you.
No,
right
that
now.
was my brother, and he goes, "Oh," and he walks up, and I was like, "This is so funny."
It was. I mean, that's when I started to, maybe not at that episode, but maybe the episode before is when I started to realise this is a drama comedy, but each episode, the ratio will differ.
Yes, 100%.
Episode 4 is where I actually laughed out loud.
Yes.
And it wasn't that particular moment with the dead brother, but it was the moment with the kids.
Yeah.
Where, so basically in that same episode, Kami and Richie had been making making drinks.
Carmen made a drink.
Kami had made the drinks, and Richie had been taking Xanax, but left the pill bottle on the side. I don't know how it ended up.
They never show how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know how it ended up happening, but the pill bottle ended up going into the container where all the drinks.
The punch was. They made a punch basically.
Yeah, and as a result, the tablets had dissolved into
the punch.
So when all the kids drank it, they just started to fall asleep. And then when Kami's sister's husband drank it, he was like, starting to feel a bit sleepy. And then there's a point when I think the old man comes to Kami and was like, "Wow, you got
Uncle
the kids."
Jimmy.
Yeah, Uncle Jimmy. "Oh, you've got all the kids to be calm." And then the camera pans to the kids, all knocked out, passed out on the lawn. And that's when I started laughing because I realised we're in trouble because all these kids have just got high from Xanax. Not got low, but from Xanax.
Yeah, when the company's like, "Oh, Uncle Jimmy, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how, but some Xanax has got into the punch." And he looks at the kids and he goes, "It's not really that bad, is it?" Yeah. I think his first question is, "Are they dead?" And he's like, "No, they're just passed out." He's like, "Well," I'm like, "Yeah, of course. You were running a kids' party and fucking kids screaming, and now they're all taking a nap."
That's the best. So me, that was when I was like, I started laughing because I found it funny. The previous episodes, I'm telling you, I was almost getting a headache. And I've sent this to you offline. I don't know how they were able to make this balance, but I would notice that they would get to these periods of like really extreme chaos in the episode with high tension, high drama, arguments, shouting. So much shouting, and then pull back. So it's not like constantly on 100 all the time. And as I was watching it on my tablet. I had it initially in my ears, like AirPods in my ears as I was listening to it. I had to take them out because it was just too loud. I felt like there was too many things in my brains talking and shouting. So then I took them out of my ears and I was able to watch the episode again. But I was noticing again these periods of just extremes and then drop down to like quieter moments of drama or quieter moments where you have these like serious conversations between like Sid and Kami as they unpacking like their lives or their backstories or understanding more about the PTSD or the, you know, the consequences that Kami is experiencing following his brother's death. And that's when you got those kind of quiet, sentimental moments from the series, which was needed because we needed respite every now and again because you just cannot be on that energy all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the show got right. But as a result of that up and down, I always felt like it was a drama. And I was seeing this glimpse of comedy, mainly from Richie.
Yeah. Richie is a character ripped out of a comedy.
Exactly. And then episode 4 was like where it really hit the stride with the jokes. And I was saying it gave me the memory of when I watched Succession for the first time. And I felt like everyone was saying, it's a comedy, it's really good, it's blah, 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 blah. And it took me 5 episodes to get into it because all I kept on seeing was there's just this drama with really sarcastic, unlikable characters. Doesn't really make sense. You have like one comedic relief, which was Macaulay Culkin's brother. I always forget his name. Rory Culkin. You have that moment, but then everyone else you just cannot connect with until you get to episode 5, and that scene where Kendall is running back to the office to beat his father was like, oh, I'm gripped. And they've got me, and they've got the right balance of the comedy, you've got the right balance of the drama. It's perfect. So that's how I felt with The Bear, I'll be honest. It took multiple episodes to get to that point, multiple episodes to land the genre, but I think it was just so well created and so well shot as well.
Yeah, I think The Bear had a bit of like a couple of false starts in that like a lot of the cast are comedians. So Io Debris, who plays Sydney, is a comedian. Natalie, who is Kami's sister, she goes by Sugar on the show as well. Abby Elliott was on SNL.
Yeah, that's what she looks briefly. So familiar. Yeah.
So there are Pete, her husband, was on Love.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of characters that if you watch a lot of comedies, you might recognise them. Yeah. And so you're right, when you're watching it, you're like, is this a drama? I think this is a drama. And you see like like someone from a comedy show or a comedian, you're like, I don't know how this could be a drama. Like, what do you, like, they're recognisably those things. So clearly he wants us to have there to be some effect on us. And then you have characters like Fak who are just there. I felt Fak and Richie are just there for comedic relief. And so you're like, well, I get it. You've got a drama that's very high octane. Maybe you chuck in a couple of comedic reliefs. Yeah. But you consider it a drama. And then you get to episode 4 and you're like, no, everything about the premise of this episode is a comedy premise. Yeah. There's a bit at the end where Pete has passed out because he also had the punch, and Richie and Uncle Jimmy and Kami are just watching him sleep, and they're like, even when he's sleeping, I want to beat the shit out of him. Like, there's just something about it that makes you want to punch him. And he honestly just looks adorable sleeping. I'm like, they just don't like Pete for some reason, and I kind of get it.
Same.
But I'm also like, why? And then they're leaving, and they have to take him home with them. Yeah. And Pete's like, thank you for letting me be a part of this family. And Richie's like, no, you're not. You're not part of this family.
And that's how he cuts.
Yeah, he's also snuggling into them as well. Like, he's just... as you watch the show, like, now looking back on the show, I'm like, of course, Natalie Sugar ended up with someone like Pete. Yeah. Because John Bernthal, first of all, great casting for the brother. Just as a glimpse, he plays the Punisher in the show The Punisher for Netflix.
I haven't watched it.
And he's American. He's the main character in American Gigolo as well now.
I still haven't watched it. Yeah.
You'll recognise his face because you probably would have seen the marketing for those two things.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I've recognised his face, but yeah.
There's something about him that is immediately charismatic.
Yeah.
So when they're like, oh, Mikey was this guy who'd walk into the room, and then they cut to John Bernthal, you're like, yeah. Yeah, that is the dude who walks into the room.
He was the glue in their sibling relationship.
They only have one flashback. Yeah, and that one flashback is Mikey telling the story that Richie tells. Yeah, and it works as that, like as just a moment in time, seeing the way that he sort of
galvanizes.
Like Kami is enamored by him. Yeah. Natalie's enamored by him. Yeah. Richie's enamored by him. Everyone is just drawn to him. Yeah. And without him, that like sort of power vacuum almost, it feels like everyone's vying for it. Richie at the beginning feels like he's vying for it. And Richie's arc, I guess, over the season, you don't expect it to come, but is that he's realising that he's not relevant. Yeah. Actually. And the world that he belonged to, where you're like, oh man, it's patriarchal, like there isn't space for him anymore. No. And he actually has to maybe just doff his cap to Kami. Yeah. Because the restaurant only thrives when it's a good restaurant. It doesn't thrive because of the grit and the Chicago-ness of it. Yeah. People aren't coming there to be yelled at by some guy who says he's Italian but hasn't been to Italy. Do you know what I mean? And equally, Kami, he's like, food, but doesn't, I think, really want to connect with any of the people that work there. Yeah. And
that's why he gives the role to Sid to organise the kitchen, where like they create that hierarchy that probably is needed in that kitchen, even though it's a bit extreme and maybe
it's very cold.
It's very cold. It very much replicates like the Michelin style restaurant, and it goes back to it throwbacks to that really tall actor, and I can't remember what his name is, who plays the head chef.
Oh, the flashback is in Kami's flashback to his work in the Michelin restaurant. It's Joe McHale.
Joe McHale. I was like, Joe McHale. Wow. I will kiss him if he drugged me on stage.
But why is he on stage? Like at a comedy show, just be like, come on, I'm gonna kiss you right now.
Why not?
Love John McHale.
He's probably 6'5" as well.
He is.
So I was like, wow.
I went to his house. Oh, did you? For fact, I was like, he is actually 6'5". I know that for a fact. I went to his house.
But I think he wants to replicate how that kind of kitchen runs, and it's a different type of kitchen.
It's psychotic.
It's psychotic. It doesn't work.
That glimpse of Joel McHale, he tells him, you're bad at this and you should kill yourself.
Yes, and then that's how it ends. I'm like, what? Also, there's a scene where Kami is talking about a particular recipe, and he's like, this recipe uses 3 or 4 different types of plum. It's like plum wine, plum this, and they had to create this kind of jelly form, like a Haribo sweet. He said Haribo very.
He said Haribo.
Haribo.
And I said what? If I didn't have the subtitles, I wouldn't know what you were saying.
When he said Haribo gummies, I was like,
what is
Haribo?
And it came up on the subtitles. I was like, that's Haribo. Baby.
Yeah. So we said that, and I was like, okay. But
not just thinking Haribo is fancy in the US.
And we're like, Starbucks, Tank Plastics. So he describes how intricate this meal is, and I'm like, in the restaurant that they're in, which is called the original beef of Chicagoland. Who is getting gourmet beef at the original beef of Chicagoland restaurant?
They said it was original beef, so I came here for gourmet beef.
Yeah, true. But it's not the same. So I think what Kami was trying to replicate and bringing Sid in to kind of lead that charge and making her be like the admin person, arranging and organising these chefs who are incredibly experienced, just created this additional dynamic that led to that kind of massive blow up in episode 7, which I truly enjoyed.
Yeah, so maybe we should get into a bit of Sid's character. Sid is she sort of came up the same way Kami came up, went to cooking school, worked in some of these Michelin star restaurants, decided she wanted to start her own catering company, put all her money into it, couldn't sustain it, her credit's now shit, and has to get a job. She can't run a business herself right now because her credit's so bad. She is a big fan of Kami.
Massive.
She says that the best meal that she ever ate at the best restaurant in the world was cooked by Kami.
Wow.
So she's very, she holds him in high reverence and comes to the original beef to work under him, essentially. Yeah. And obviously the original beef is not a Michelin star restaurant. It is a sandwich shop. Yes. And while Kami's got a vision because he's worked at a Michelin star restaurant, all the other chefs are just sort of like, we make sandwiches and we give the people the sandwiches. That's sort of what we do. And with Sydney there, he's able to sort of explain to them the vision. Yeah. Because she knows the vision. She knows how it works. And Sydney is an ambitious young woman.
So ambitious.
She, the failure of her business wasn't the food. The failure was that it grew too big for her. Yeah. And so she is still the genius behind that company and kind of doesn't want to end up again working at a company where she's in some sort of chef's shadow. So she comes to Original Beef, but her hopes are that like she will work close with Carly and the two of them will build the Original Beef into this, you know, fucking 3-star Michelin restaurant.
Mind you, it was graded C, but almost close.
The health inspector came and said, well, if you guys don't fix it, it's supposed to get closed tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sydney and Carly have this very weird relationship because, and like what I liked about it is it kind of reminds me very, very loosely of what I do when it works, shall I say? Not all the time, but like it's talented people working with talented people.
Yeah.
This is the people that you would, like, you work with people that you admire. You read things that you're like, this is fucking brilliant. And they might read something of yours and be like, that's fucking brilliant. I don't write, but like they might read my notes and be like, that's spot on, you're a genius. And that is a relationship between Carly and Sydney, is that like Sydney thinks he's brilliant. She'll make a dish, he'll be like, that tastes incredible. Like they're sort of building each other up.
The yin's the yang kind of thing, yeah.
But there is a point where he says, where Sydney's like, I really want to put risotto on the menu. And he's like, we're not ready for that. And she's like, yeah, okay, next episode. She's like, I'm still thinking about the risotto. And he's like I said, we're not ready for it now, but it's a perfectly good dish. It still needs work. And then he says to Sydney, I called your references and they all said you were very ambitious, but you were also very impatient.
Yeah.
And I need you to understand that right now, where this restaurant is, we are not in a position to put the risotto on the menu.
Yeah.
And Sydney's like, got it. Anyway, I'm going to serve the risotto to a random member of the public in the hopes, and this is the thing that was a bit annoying about her, is that she was like, I didn't know any of this was going to happen, but you were hoping that at least this random member of the public would come back and be like, the risotto was incredible.
Exactly.
Put it on the menu.
Yeah, of course.
Turns out the random member of the public that she served it to was a critic, restaurant critic, who wrote a 5-star review of the restaurant, particularly praising Sydney's risotto. So in episode 7, we've got this review that is obviously winding Carly up because he's like, I told you not to, like, we're not doing the risotto, but you've served it to someone and now people are going to come here specifically for risotto that we don't serve.
And also pissing off Richie as well.
Pissing off Richie. But Richie already has a bee in his bonnet about Sydney because Sydney belongs to the new school.
Yeah.
And he's old school. Like, Sydney isn't like, oh, we need a man to fix stuff up. She's a young woman who's ambitious, who's good at what she does, and believes that if you make good food, you'll make money that way, and we don't need to spend our time doing little side quests like Richie does.
Yeah.
So there is now all of this press about the restaurant. Equally, Sydney's been pushing for them to do takeout menu. Do takeout menu. And on the first day that the takeout video is launching, the review comes in. And they turn on the takeout machine, and it's just inundated with fucking orders. Carly says to Sydney, didn't I tell you to turn off the pre-order thing on the takeout thing? And she's like, oh, whoops. They suddenly have orders for like 76 sandwiches. And the kitchen hasn't changed. It's the same stuff, it's the same kitchen, the same amount of resources. But they are just getting flooded with orders, not including the people outside waiting to come in, order food. So they are already at, like, imagine 100% is full capacity. They're at 175.
Yeah.
Also, Carly's pissed off at Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney's being like, I feel like we should talk because it kind of feels like you're pissed off at me. Not the time.
Yeah.
Every time she kept on doing that, I was like, this is not the time. But that, going back to her being an impatient person, like, I don't like the idea that there's bad blood between us, so let's talk about it right now. Even though we were up to our eyeballs in work. Marcus, who's another chef at the restaurant, he's in charge of desserts, is doing everything but what he's supposed to be doing. He's making donuts. He's decided he's making donuts. They need him to make cakes. He's not made the cakes in time. So that's going on. He's making a mess because he's needed to rush the cakes. They don't have enough beef for these beef orders that are coming in. And it's just the most chaotic and honestly riveting episode of TV I've seen in a long time. And it was actually it was one shot.
That's what I love about it. I loved how you felt so immersed in this growing argument and tension with every single character. And you were placed in the kitchen.
Yes,
you were in that kitchen. And all you had to do was look up to your left and you see beef between Richie and Sid. To your right, you see Marcus, who's just got his genius idea and wants to tell someone and no one cares. To your forward, you will see Carmi just freaking out about all these orders.
That's the day that Tina decides to bring her son to work.
Exactly. It's just so much chaos. And that's what I was talking about, the organised chaos of it all, is that in this chaos, even though we know it's chaos, we can still, I was going to say the word manage it, but we as an audience is able to see it for what it is without it being so chaotic that you almost get lost.
And most of the episodes, the chaos you feel like they're going to get on top of. Like, if you've ever seen Kitchen Nightmares, which used to be one of my favourite shows, like, there would always be a point where, you know, Gordon's in the kitchen and people are faffing about and all these orders are coming in. He's like, right, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and they suddenly get it under control. Yeah. And throughout the series, they suddenly get it under control. Yeah. That episode, I was like, I actually don't think you guys are going to figure this out.
That's the thing. Like,
and so the tension just keeps mounting. Yeah. One point, Sydney stabs Richie in the butt.
Yeah, literally. I mean, they didn't show it, but because when she brought that knife out, she was like, "You really want to mess with me?" I was like, "No, please, please, please. This show could end up in a different way, a different tone altogether." And
have you heard of the theory of Chekhov's gun?
No, what's that?
So the theory of Chekhov's gun is that if you show a gun in, like, this is usually in plays, but if you show a gun in the first act, that gun needs to go off by the third.
Ooh.
And I think this show very much adheres to the theory of Chekhov's gun.
Because you see the knife at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like, don't make a threat about that knife if you're not going to use that knife.
Also, that he makes comments. Carmi makes a comment about the knife being blunt, even though they kept on getting cut. It was like what's it called? The injuries of the 10,000 cuts, where you just see a cut
Death
here.
by 1,000 cuts.
Death by 1,000 cuts. Thank you. And you see one cut here, by Carmi, another cut by Sid. People are getting cuts left, right, and centre until it's completely cut open and is dead, which is how the relationship, friendship between Sid and Carmi kind of end up at the end of the episode.
It's very difficult even to call it a friendship. Because
camaraderie, I don't know.
But I feel like that's the thing that was interesting about the show, and like we talked about this offline about like, oh, it's a shame there wasn't a romance element to the show.
I like romance.
And no, but I'm with you. I feel like you do want to nowadays some sort of something, like a hint of something.
Sexual tension.
But I got to the end of this and I was like, I don't think there really was space for a romantic relationship because the relationship between Sid and Carmen is interesting.
Yeah.
But it's almost a mentor and a mentee relationship. Yeah. And they actually don't become friends. There are things that he shares with her and there are things that she shares with him that are supposed to help them understand each other. But it felt like, now I understand you more as a chef. Yeah. As opposed to, now I understand you as a person. Let's go get drinks after work. And there was none of it was camaraderie through talent, if that makes sense. That it was camaraderie through genuine care for each other.
Exactly. And this is how I kind of felt as you were talking. I harken back to a show that I used to love growing up, and I still do, called Ugly Betty.
What? Ugly?
That is a throwback if you know it. But I remember first series, again, it's just setting the premise. This character called Betty is going into the fashion industry. She does not look like the traditional person who will be in the fashion industry. She's not a model. She is this dorky, nerdy, recluse Latino girl in this industry. Oh, I'm sorry, let me be descriptive about it. And she is basically being mentored by this hot director, Daniel. And there is no relationship. You as a viewer do not even care about the relationship aspects. She's interested in some other guy. And then you get to I think it's like series 4.
I'm sorry, by the end of season 2, I was like, he's doing a lot of stuff for you.
Yeah, but I was just, in my head, I've always thought of it.
And I am acts of service.
Yeah, you're
so if a man's doing all of this for me, you love me.
Yeah, but for me, I also saw it as like, he's your boss. You support him as your...
But he goes out of his way.
He does, but you're his boss. You're the boss.
Come to the house at Christmas time.
Yes, but I'm just saying, it's mainly because Betty was so vulnerable.
So you thought my first name was Ugly, so it was Betty. Mainly because Ugly.
Betty was so vulnerable, and he felt like he had to protect her in this evil industry. You had to Wilhelmina, for goodness sake. But
Mark.
Mark. Well, I like Mark. Yeah, but it got towards. I think it was series 4 when all of a sudden the story changed.
Yeah.
And he looked at her differently, and
she started to be hot.
Yeah. She went through her glow up, but it was
Little
interesting.
ponchos.
Yeah, no poncho. Yes, so ponchos. Again, adding back to the fact that she was not belonging in this world. But then the relationship happened, and the tension that maybe
No
people saw.
spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, but Ugly Betty is
No
almost.
spoilers.
Ugly Betty is decade. Is almost
I
a decade
haven't
old.
watched Beyond season before, so no spoilers.
But you know where it went.
No spoilers.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
Will they, won't they? Is all I'm
going to say is this. Even if they haven't done or haven't created a love story or tension or some type of seeds of a relationship in series 1, who's to say that it can't happen in consequent seasons? It probably wouldn't work because I don't think... I agree with you. The dynamic isn't for Sid and Carmen's...
It's not sexy.
No, not sexy, but
I mean, it is sexy, but like not...
No,
it's very
like a tension, like a romantic tension between them. I don't see it now. They may want to do it later on, but you're right. Series 1 was not about romance. It was about Carmi, the family, Richie, all handling the grief of Michael.
And it is also about that relationship between him and Sydney, but it's about him having the role that his horrible mentor has.
Yes.
And having to realise if he doesn't want to be that guy, he has to do something different.
He's like course correcting his own life and using Sid as that, like the alternate Carmi, basically.
Yeah. Rather than him then trying to get into bed with her.
Exactly.
It would feel inappropriate.
Yeah, I agree. And also, she was quite young. She's like only just come out of university.
No.
Okay.
She had a whole business.
Yeah. Could have done it at university.
No, she didn't have it at university.
Okay, but either way, she's still relatively young, and she's relatively young, and he's
22.
He's not 22.
How did we?
He's not 22. I mean, we went through this. He's not 22.
I saw this TikTok which was about, basically it was quite bleak in that, like, in life you're not going to find someone who meets all of your standards. Not all of your standards, but all of your needs. And that there are 3 main needs, and you have to pick 2 that are important to you.
Yeah.
And the needs are physical attraction, like mental attraction, and emotional attraction.
Okay.
So it's like, do you want to date someone who's hot? Do you want to date someone who's smart? Or like as smart as you are, whatever?
Yeah.
Or do you want to date someone who's emotionally intelligent? You can't have all 3. You can have 2.
That's hard.
And I think in watching this, it sort of reawakened that thing of like, that was a meeting of minds. That's what was hot to me. Is like what I would find hot if I met someone and they loved their job, and their job was the same as mine, and as much as I love my job, that inherently would be hot to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I was watching them being like, this is hot. But like other people don't think of that as being too. They could be like, we have 2 platonic friends who make food, and that's fine. It's me being like, if I made food and you made food and we both liked each other's food, we have to get married. I'm done. What are you talking about? Because all I'd be thinking all day every day is that you're making food for some other girl. I don't appreciate you like I appreciate you, baby.
To me,
hey baby, I appreciate food.
I honestly, I do feel that if they were going to do any romance or any romantic relationships, it will be between Sid and Marcus.
But see, those 2 are sweet to each other. I feel like they're on emotional.
Yeah.
They're 2 people who are maybe emotionally matched.
But I feel like it just seems a bit more compatible.
But not mentally matched.
No, not mentally matched at all.
Potentially physically matched.
But yeah, because also that was when
also potentially physically matched with Carly.
We don't know.
We
don't
don't
know
what
her type is.
But we know what his type is. They're sexless people.
Yeah, exactly. At the moment, everyone is Ken and Barbie. But I'm just thinking, like, this is something that they can open up for series 2 or consequent seasons. I think it's got so much legs to this show that I want to see more of it.
Yeah. We were talking briefly before the podcast about, like... So, spoiler alert. You get to the end of the season and you realise that Michael had been in debt, it felt like, to another company called JBL. And no one could work out who this JBL is. No one could work out what this money was for. And Carmen at this point is at the end of his rope because he's like, my brother did not care about this restaurant at all. He owed money to our Uncle Jimmy, he owed money to the JBL, he wasn't paying the light bill, he wasn't paying this, like, he wanted this thing to crash and burn. The note, and this is a perfect example of Jekyll's gone, the note that Richie finds in the first episode and decides not to give to Carmen, in the last episode, Carmen's, again, the water is up to his eyeballs.
Yes.
And Richie, I also feel like because I feel like things have changed in Richie and Carmen's relationship at that point as well. Like, Carmen bailed Richie out of jail when he punched the dude who almost died.
Yeah.
And used the restaurant's parachute money to get... And I feel like at that point, it's quite sad. They're in the car together and Richie said, "You're all I've got."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, come on, guys. You gotta fill your lives with more than this.
Yeah.
But, like, they crossed the Rubicon in their relationship. So when he sees Carmi struggling, he goes, right, I've got to give him this letter. Richie gives him the letter. And you're like, honestly, at the edge of your seat, like, oh my God, is this going to be, he's going to open this up and it's going to be all the answers he's been searching for. Goes outside. And, like, this is what I thought was really interesting. Goes outside, has the letter, doesn't open it. He messages Sydney.
Oh. Yeah.
And he's like, I shouldn't have spoken to you like that the other day.
Yes, and he apologises.
Yeah.
Yes.
And tells her that her recipe needs more acid. And I think it's especially interesting because he says earlier in the episode that the way that him and his brother communicated was through food.
Yes.
And the way that him and Sydney communicates is through food.
Yes, that's true.
And when he opens the letter, the way that his brother communicates with him is
It's
through
food.
food.
Yeah.
It's not like, dear Carmi, I had a lot of problems and I had to, no, it's here's the recipe for mum's lasagna or whatever the hell it is. Carmi's like, what the hell is this? And as I was watching it, I was also like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was bolognese recipe. Yeah.
I think I was sitting there thinking, God forbid, if anything happened to my sister and the note she left me was, here are lyrics to a song, I'd be like, out of your fucking mind. Or here's a recipe for something. I'd be like, what the hell is this? Anyway, he decides he's going to cook. So in a restaurant, one of the chefs chooses to cook family, which is cooking the food for the people in the restaurant to eat. So he says, I'm going to cook today based on my brother's recipe. The recipe involves these tins of tomato which have been sat in the restaurant for months. Nobody uses them. They're not part of any recipe. And he's like, why the hell do we have these? Opens one of them to make the recipe and there is a wad of cash in there. They open all the tins and there are just wads of cash in every single tin of tomatoes. Enough for them to pay off whatever debt they have and to close the original beef of Chicagoland and start a new restaurant.
Oh, yes. And then Sid comes back to the restaurant. And again,
no apologies.
No apologies.
He says to her, a restaurant, family booths, Danish style.
That's the actual dialogue.
Like it's completely it's business. But that is a love language, I think, between the two of them.
Foreplay.
Awful play. I'm gonna lie, I watched that scene and I said, this is hot, honey. This is hot.
I think I saw
it's
it.
hot for the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I saw it. I was like, wow, they're connecting. The friendship is starting to build again.
I said it is a love language.
Yeah,
that is him
true,
saying, I'm sorry, I messed up.
Yeah.
You are talented. I'm gonna invest in you.
Yeah.
And I want us to continue this relationship as colleagues.
Yeah, and I think we work together and we should be partners.
That's what he said
from a business perspective.
In that moment of saying, and a window on the side to sell sandwiches.
Which is basically a description of the future restaurant that they will have together. I don't know who will own, but that they will have together.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
In a very, I don't care, whatever. But also she is trying really hard not to grin from ear to ear because she's hyped.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, this is love. This is it. This is what love looks like. Yeah.
Or a very strong, genuine friendship.
I figured out what it is.
Yeah.
All I want, when I talk about being in love, all I want is to be seen.
Yes.
Yeah. And at that moment, he sees her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all you want in life. It's for someone to come up to you and tell you exactly what it is that you want.
And also, he's...
And to be like, I'm giving it to you.
Yeah. And he's investing in her, something that she's not been able to gauge or have since the failure of her business.
Her credit's in the toilet, she says.
Exactly. So he's given her some form of security, which I think is another thing that people want in a partner. So I'm not saying, again, we don't know if it's going to be a love story.
Maybe
or if
this
it's going to
be a conspiracy theory.
A massive conspiracy theory. Or if this is going to be a love story
what I want for
of
the show
friendship.
is that we never get to see it.
Those types of things, It's amazing for the first 2 seasons. It pisses me off towards the end because
But
it's just
do you know
it's
why
just
I think we
tension,
should never-
tension,
we should
tension.
never get to see it because I don't think it affected my viewing of this show. Like, I'm not viewing this show in the hopes that the two of them get together.
Yeah.
I'm viewing the show because actually it's a very entertaining show.
Yeah.
So unless they can make the two of them getting together as entertaining as the rest of the show, I'm not going to be bereft if we see what we don't see.
I agree. Because also, there's 2 things. If they do get together, they will probably break up just because it usually happens this way. And then it causes a massive divide and changes the dynamic of the actual kitchen, which is what is one of the glues to the show.
Yeah.
And then 2, everything will generally revolve around the relationship.
It also, the more I think about it, the more inappropriate it does feel because he's sort of like a teacher to her.
Yes!
And it isn't right for them.
No, I
Like,
think...
who's going to start that relationship? Who's going to be like, hey.
Yeah. It's just wrong. If I was the writer and the team behind it, don't even try and delve into this. Don't even try and, introduce
Let
a
the
love
kids
interest.
write their fan fiction.
Exactly.
Let me write my fan fiction.
Exactly.
My dreams.
Don't even bring like a love interest for Kami and then Sid is feeling jealous. Let's not do that. Let's not. Just make it seem like they're good friends.
Just have it be that in season 5, Kami and Sydney and Marcus come in. They're both wearing red rings. We don't
Done.
talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that they make more sense as a couple than Kami.
It doesn't have any of the baggage that Kami and
Yeah.
Sid's relationship would have.
Also, Marcus is like this warm teddy bear of
he makes
desserts.
dessert. I mean, how could you not be just warmed by his presence?
Yeah. Talking of warming of your presence.
Ooh.
So, in our review last week, when we were talking about the beer, I said the show is about a hot chef.
Do I think there is a hot chef? A single hot chef in there?
No,
Or do
I think
the chef is hot.
Well, the initial premise that there was going to be one main hot chef, which would have been Kami. But I'm open to thoughts about whether the hotness spread like the fire that they did in episode 8.
Wow.
Lovely imagery.
A great imagery. I would like to preface this comment that I have eyes. And therefore my eyes were very much able to pick up on how bad and this is not a racial thing, but all the white people on this show have bad skin. And all the black people have good skin. And that's just the way the show has been made up. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the grading, I don't know if it's makeup. I think it was on purpose. I have to believe it was on purpose because no one would put people out there looking like that by accident. That's not an accident, Kami, we haven't mentioned this before, but he has he suffers, well, maybe we have, he's about, when we were talking about the physical traits of his grief, is that he has these nightmares.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem like he sleeps a lot.
No.
Also, it seems like he eats garbage.
Ironic.
Yes. I think, when they showed that scene, I was like, of course, he cooks all these great foods and he gets home and he's too tired to cook for himself, so he eats garbage. That was very clever.
Yeah. So stereotypical.
But he does have good hair. And no, listen, because if you were truly that unhealthy, your hair wouldn't be that good. It'd be dry. It'd be limp. Lifeless. Falling out in clumps. He has a good head of hair. Yeah. And I said, disconnect. Why does he have a full head of hair? He's trying to convince me that he's sickly. So that is all to say, I have eyes, I know all the things you're going to say, I know.
Yeah.
Did I find him attractive?
Yes. Answer the question.
Did I find him attractive? Episode 1, no. 2, no. 3, no. 4, no.
Okay.
5,
ooh,
no. 6, question mark.
Okay.
7, when he was yelling at everyone.
Resounding yes.
Yes. Yes, I am problematic. I don't think I'm better than anyone here, I promise. But I will say this. His arms. His arms was doing it for me. It's the arms that was doing it for me. It was the arms and the hair.
Wow.
Certain men of a certain age, that much hair? Come on.
I know.
Good genes.
Yeah, it's so bad. Complete side note. I was in the office and I'm working on the show and creating some creative for a show. And I was making a joke about the actor is so, but the arms is what gets people talking.
He's not even the most jacked, but when he's stirring the plate, you see the muscles flexing.
Exactly. And I picked an image of his arms and I was talking about it this is the image that people are going to be talking about. And they were like, are you objectifying him? I was like, no.
Yes.
But
I am.
But as a viewer and
Red-blooded
consumer,
woman.
I also understand how my audience thinks about things, and they will look at those arms and be like, oh yeah.
Did I say in the last episode, choke me? Choke me. I didn't say that. Did I think it? Yes. Did I say it? No, I didn't say it. Did I think it? Yes. Did I say it? No, I didn't say it. But even as I thought, I said, Marnie, you gotta want more for yourself. You gotta want more for yourself. Not a grieving chef. Why can't you pick a nice boy? Good job. Not grieving.
Marcus, man, making the desserts.
He can also choke me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm not classy. I'm not a classy girl. I've told you this about me. I'm not a classy girl. But I would say that. Oh, this is my main point about the attractiveness. White men have co-opted wearing a white t-shirt and a chain in a way that I've never seen anybody. No one has cornered that. No one has cornered the market like it. Every time I see a hot white person, they're wearing a t-shirt and a chain.
Wow.
I want to be a better person.
Wow.
Specifically a white t-shirt around neck and either a gold or silver chain.
How thick is that chain?
Oh, not too chunky.
Too chunky. Okay.
Not too chunky, but not thin.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think, damn, choker.
Okay.
It's a choker.
It's a choker. Okay.
He's a choker.
Oh God. I didn't expect this. Actually, no. Tell a lie. I did expect it. I knew.
Would I go on a date with him is a separate question. I'm saying the look from the neck down, just the hair, no facial features.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I really do wish I was better than this, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I said anyone who's remotely talented at anything makes me hot. So
yeah.
I will say I was above finding Richie hot.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad.
I will say that about myself.
I'm glad.
That's why I thought Marcus was hot. He made little cakes and everyone said they tasted good.
I
didn't even taste them. I was like,
I thought Marcus was cute.
can you imagine you live at home?
That's the kind of chef you want in your house. Yeah, I think he was adorable.
You get fat real quick.
Yeah, you I think he was adorable. Did I find him hot? No, but I found him adorable.
Oh, I bet he gives the best cuddles.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's the thing. Adorable.
Imagine nestling into his lap.
Yeah.
I'll go sleep right here.
I think for me,
like a cat.
I understand the hoopla around him being a hot chef, especially Kami, especially when he was in that position of power. And he was like, can you do this, chef? Yes, chef. Can you do this? Yes, chef. I was like, okay. He knows how to dominate a kitchen.
And he could dominate this.
Yeah, I'm done. But did I find him attractive and hot? No. On a physical perspective, I didn't find him hot because of the whole, he looked like he really needed some help. In terms of just looking after himself. Yeah, in his life. He looked like he was going through a process in himself of looking after himself or trying to find a source to help him, whether that's going to AA, whether that is opening up more to his siblings. That was his process. And I think at that period in time, he didn't need me in that process. But I will say the most attractive things about him were his power and his control of the kitchen. I'm not going to lie, that is a very attractive trait. And also his vulnerability, which is something that, I'll be honest, a vulnerable guy gets a couple of extra points from me. And I think when he was vulnerable, when he was apologizing to Sid, or when, he was talking to his sister about things that he should have done, or things that, why their relationship hasn't been the same. I think those are the moments where you're like, this guy has potential. That being said, on a physical aspect, he's a short king. And you know how I feel about short kings.
Not fast. Honestly.
You'll be bending down.
It didn't have a problem.
Again,
it didn't work on me.
The control of the kitchen gives him a couple of extra inches in terms of height.
Do you know he actually... So my last thing is about Jeremy Allen White, the guy who plays Carl. Yeah. He actually did 2 weeks of in cooking school in preparation for
I'm not surprised, yeah.
For the show. But
I think all of them, it looked like all of them did in some way or had been exposed to a kitchen, because even the dynamic of the yes chef and the call and response, and those all felt very...
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Fact, who is basically the handyman.
Yeah.
He actually is a professional chef in real life.
Oh, for real? That's actually very funny.
Very funny.
That's very funny.
If you watch
actually,
the show, because he would like to get a job.
Yeah, he's like, please give me a job. Yeah.
So my last point is about, again, Jeremy Allen White. There is a moment in the final episode. Final episode is really, for me, a very fun. It has a lot of really great moments in it. It starts off breaking from the format in a sort of cooking show where Carmi's talking straight to the audience, and he's trying to make a meal, but he's like, oh no, my staff have left me because they're dicks or whatever. I'm going to do this. My brother killed himself, and that's why I'm here. And slowly you realise he doesn't have any of the equipment, so he can't cook and he can't open any of the cupboards, and the cooking show soon becomes like a hell escape for him. I thought that was nice. But I think the thing that was like a standout moment for me, aside from the one short episode, was in the final episode he's been going to AA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous, as a form of, like, I guess, counselling for what's happened to his brother. And somebody says, oh, if you've been to less than 15 meetings, do you want to come up and share? But he goes up and he talks, and it's a 7-minute monologue. And watching it, I had the feeling I only ever really have in a theatre, which is the very crisp silence when everyone is on the edge of their seat watching someone act in a very powerful way. And as I was watching it, like, even the thoughts in my head, and I'm constantly thinking, my mind is chaos. When I was watching it, I felt that silence. And I remember looking at it and I was like, this is a theatre moment in a TV show. And we don't often get that. And it's one of the things that makes me love theatre, is that that theatre has to really arrest you because your audience is directly in front of you. So if you're not delivering, you'll know.
Yeah. It's
not like TV where you cut a scene together and you think it's going to be good because 4 people have watched it and they already know the show and like the show. This is like a thing. You have to hold people's attention. And I found that scene to just be like, I mean, one, it made me miss the theatre because I was like, this is incredible. Also made me think, oh, he must be a theatre actor to do this, because this is it was just so arresting. He tells, and it is also a monologue that basically unpacks this entire character. And it is such a drama trope to be like, right, watch 8 episodes of the show, and then the 8th episode we're going to explain why the hell he's the way he is. But it really it had me, not at the edge of my seat, because I was in my house, so I'm not going to do that. But it really silenced me for a moment and made me think about what the show is, what it's trying to do, and the themes. And also his performance as this character. And I just think the cast are brilliant. I think he's incredible, actually, for that monologue. And I feel like at that point I was like, this is actually something quite special.
Yeah.
And even talking about Richie, like in Girls is a bit of a wacky, high-end, silly show. And only certain characters get their moments. Like Adam Driver gets moments on that show where you're like, who is this guy? Desi, not so much. Watching him in this, there's a point where he phones his ex because he thinks, oh, this might be the last phone call I make as a free man. And we don't know the details of whatever happens. Like, I just want to apologise for what I said about your dad. I shouldn't have used that word. Don't know what the word was. But you felt very much in that moment, this is a guy who's realised that he might live up to the name of Richie Badneys.
Yes.
And decides not to call her and say, by the way, I'm in prison and I might be going to jail for the rest of my life. He apologises. Yeah. I was like, these are those moments that, like, you can't teach someone that your drama should be powering towards. These are things that you just know. And for this to be the first thing that Chris Storer is really, obviously he's been working in TV for a long time, but to steer a drama, and other people wrote on the show as well. I'm not going to say that he wrote every single episode because he didn't, but like, to know that that's what you're gearing towards, like, I don't know, feels really special.
It was really impressive, I'll be honest. If you were going to rate it,
4.5. I think the arms could have been bigger.
Yeah.
No, I honestly think it was a 5.
Yeah, I will give it 4.5 too. It's...
I gave it a 10 on IMDb today.
Yeah, I just checked it. I was looking at Rotten Tomatoes, 100%.
8.4 on
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Sure.
I think it's one of
best things I've seen this year.
It's one of
I want to go back and watch it again.
I probably need to. I think that there are things that I missed that I could watch and just like absorb and get that kind of background. The series has been renewed for series 2, so I feel like that would be the perfect time to rewatch ahead of series 2. But yeah, it was a refreshing show. I loved the way it was shot. It got me from episode 1. It captures me in, even though, you know, there's a lot of like groundwork and setting up who the characters are. I was intrigued. I think all the characters, the backstories had a lot of meat to the story, no pun intended. How about we not make that joke?
Beef.
A lot of beef to the story.
A lot of beef in the show.
Oh, so ironic.
Beefing each other.
I love the dynamic of the ensemble.
Yeah.
I love that the cast was diverse,
yeah.
but also not in your face type of diverse. Like
not like, oh, we have to fill a quota. It felt like these are people that work at this place.
Exactly,
and that's it.
It just it was just really refreshing. So yeah, 4.5.
I wish we've got. I would say maybe a minus 4.5, just simply because, and hopefully we can do this in season 2. We can showcase some of the other people in the kitchen.
Yes.
Like I feel like we got to know Tina, Sydney, Marcus, Ibrahim, because he kept talking about when he was growing up in Somalia and they were at war. But the other guy we didn't get to know enough about. I think he seemed fun.
Yeah,
so
I think.
And even Zach.
Yeah,
I'd love to know more about, especially since
he's an actual chef.
Throw it down in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's gonna end up happening. All the chefs like have COVID, and he comes in like.
I love how they talked about COVID as well in a way that it didn't feel like shoehorned in or like this is a show about COVID. Just like people have struggled. Some people didn't make it out the other side. And somehow this shithole restaurant has, as they keep referring into it. But it is, it's a part of the community. And honestly, if this was a real restaurant, and it is based on a real restaurant called Mr. B.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I'm
Chicago,
not surprised.
I would go there.
I don't think I would.
I would
go on it after the transformation that happens, but
no, I would go there. I've never really thought about Chicago, mostly because I feel like it's murder town, but
Chi-town, Chi-right.
And also I've heard like it's quite segregated, but I now want to go there.
Interesting.
Not in winter because it seems like it's the world's coldest.
No, also,
it's a windy. It's
a windy city. Yeah, it's a windy city.
Anyway, I would actually consider going to New York.
Yeah,
based on this show, I want to go to New York and not Chicago.
That being said, Kami, when he spoke, the minute he opened his mouth, I was like, "You're from New York," and he actually is. But we had other discussions offline, which we're not going to bring.
We don't
now.
need to go into, but suffice it to say, some people. There are other countries in Europe aside from Italy.
Yes, exactly.
Enough of this. Everyone in America is
exactly.
We need more Ukrainian representation.
Yeah. Which is where he's from. But yeah, I was going to say, definitely, if you want to watch this, make sure you're in a peaceful state of mind.
No, I actually think come into it straight after work chaos. Because I will say this about the show, I've never been more thankful that I don't work in a restaurant.
Same.
I said, do you know what?
Same.
I should stop complaining about work. I'm good. I'm living good.
Same. It's definitely something that you should just brace yourself on, as if you were going on a roller coaster. Just hold on tight and pray. And close your eyes.
Hold on to Kami's arms tight and pray. So, what are we going to watch next week?
Yes. So, we're going to watch Loot, which is a comedy on Apple TV Plus, starring Maya Rudolph.
Yeah. Aurora Funches, Angelica Booster.
Yeah. It looks really exciting. It's one of our first reviews from a Apple show. So
Apple, let's see what you got.
Let's see. Yeah. So it's been a really meaty episode, no pun intended.
I dreamed about that show yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Real meat and potatoes.
I think just the chaos of it, my brain was like, great.
Yeah.
let's be in here when we get stressed.
You need to be in a calm sense of mind. Or watch something calming afterwards. But it was very warm. It was like a nice, well done, medium rare. I'm finished. Steak.
I don't like steak, so I don't like the reference part.
It's not my go-to meal. But the bear is definitely worth
Bear is
watch.
your go-to meal.
Yes.
You'd like to.
Kami's arm is, yeah.
Kami's arm.
Just the one arm. Oh gosh.
So this has been Scripts and Giggles.
Yeah.
Hey guys, subscribe to the pod.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the pod and we'll come to your house.
We're available on Spotify
Yeah.
and on iTunes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And on the YouTube.
And on the YouTube too. So definitely.
And you might see us on a TikTok every now and then.
Yeah. So definitely take a listen. Definitely follow. Recommend to a friend.
But only your cool, hot friends. No uggos. I'm kidding. Ugly people, you're welcome too.
Bring your friend on stage and kiss them with a podcast. Actually, don't do it. Don't.
When we go on our live show, which you guys know we are planning to do, we've been talking about it since episode 1, which is completely... Told you how ambitious we are.
Yeah.
We will bring you on stage. Each of you.
But we won't kiss you.
We will.
No, we won't.
If you're VIP.
Consent all the way. Consent all the way.
VIP ticket, you're getting a smooch.
Let's not. We'll pray for you.
We'll smooch.
We'll pray for you.
One of us will pray for you, one of you will smooch. And you can pick which one you want. How about that?
And again, that gives the power back into your hands.
That's what we want. We want
Exactly.
the power to be power to the people, as they say.
Now, on that note, thank you for listening to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnie. Imagine Marnie's full name was Marnie. Hi, I'm Marnie.
Completely different podcast.
And Marnie. Short for Marnie.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. Just really quick. I just want to say that if we were in the Bear, you would be Sydney. No, I would be Sydney. No, you would be Sydney. And I would be Kami. No, you would be Sydney. God, I can't remember my mind up. Who would you smooch? This is the last thing. Who would you smooch? If you had to pull someone from the Bear on stage, who you smooch in?
Obviously, Kami.
You are an absolute nightmare. After you was like, he's not hot, so you just be kissing boys you don't find attractive.
No.
Yeah.
No. I said I didn't find him physically attractive, but the emotional and the mental attraction was there. I picked my 2 boxes.
So who are you pulling up on stage?
Kami.
I would be pulling up on stage.
You would take Richie.
You're messy. I would, yeah. I mean, I felt, can I put up 2 people?
Go on.
Marcus and Kami.
Yeah. Together.
Yeah. One can kiss either cheek.